Hey there, everybody, coming back at you. It is a Tuesday night. Had some fish in the freezer that started looking a little shatty, so decided to do a little fish fry tonight. So what I got going on here, just got done cutting, going back through, making sure that all the white bones are out of the panfish. These are all bluegill fillets and perch fillets in here. So Mississippi River from probably actually from last fall. So we're getting ready to go do some perch fishing here probably this weekend. So what we're going to do is make sure that all of these are done. After sitting that long, even in the water, what I like to do is take them and soak them in some salt water for a little while and get things all, just kind of get that salty brine to them a little bit and let them sit there and soak for a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll strain them out. And once they're strained out, then we're going to batter them or bread them in a little shore lunch breading. And then tonight I'm going to cook them inside. So it put a little stench in the house for Mama. But it's pretty important to wash these things off, right? When you get them, you're going to, again, take them and make sure that those Y bones are out of there because we have some younger kids eating them, and it will keep from anybody getting a bone in the back of their throat. So these are all panfish. When you fillet them, you take the skin off and then take the Y bones out. And then again, I like to soak them in some salt water for a little while. And I'll show you the next steps here. We are done soaking them. Now we are going to take them and just drain them out, let them sit a little bit. I don't want them sopping wet. So all I'm going to do is drain them out for a little bit. And then I'm going to take them over to the shore lunch and dust them in batter and or in breading and go from there. So again, perch, and this is a bluegill, but just getting the fillets ready for our little evening fish fry. Of course, when you have a fish fry, you gotta have a little seasoned tater tots. So the kids love the seasoned tater tots, and here's the old operation. So we got that, and then we got our breading, which is the shore lunch original recipe. And again, in the house, I'm not going to get the deep fryer out, so I'm just going to throw some vegetable oil in the pan. Make sure it's at 350. Go straight from, I'll have my fish here to the breading to the oil at 350, and we'll get the tots going and get it going that way. All right, back to our fish fry. 425. You can see that the tater tots are in. The oil is ready to go, and we are going to get that up to 350 and go. Again, not normally do I do it in the house. It usually stinks it up, but it's raining, it's crappy, it's cold, whatever. Hence why I'm also going to make some shore lunch creamy wild rice tonight. Again, I don't have any chicken broth. I'm going to go 8 ounces or 8 cups of water. Bring it to a steaming boil, which it is. Slowly whisk that into the water and then reduce the heat and let it simmer. So that is going to be that. But if you want a little bit extra flavoring or whatever with the shore lunch creamy wild rice, substitute 1 cup of the water with a cup of chicken broth. It usually turns out pretty good. And then also we are in the harvest season. So this is the 2022 last bag of homemade corn. So what we're going to do there is we always freeze a bunch of corn throughout the season so we have it year round. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take 9 cups of corn to a couple of cups of water and then a half a cup of sugar, and I'll boil it for 3 minutes and then freeze it. This is coming out of the freezer. It's not done yet. Wait till you see it later. It turns out amazing. Thank you to Grandma Damaris. That's her recipe. And then once this gets simmering at 20 minutes, being my shore lunch rice, and our tots get a little crispier and our corn gets done, then I will start dipping the fish into the shore lunch recipe and into the oil. So everything is done all at once. But again, last bag of 2022 Grandma D corn. Getting some soup going, getting some corn going, getting the shore lunch going. It's a beautiful night to do it. It's just crappy outside. So, getting supper ready. Alright, so here again, we're going to slowly dump this into the boiling. So this is the shore lunch. We're going to slowly dump it in there. Wisp away a little bit, you know, otherwise it's going to boil over. We're going to get that in there, and I'm trying to do this one-handed, otherwise I'd be dumping and wisping all at once. But again, 8 cups of water. If you wanted a little extra flavoring or whatnot, you can put a cup of chicken broth, so go 7 cups of water and 1 cup of chicken broth. But tonight I'm going to do it this way because I don't have any chicken broth. It was a last minute, so I'm like, I feel like some wild rice soup. So we're going to get that going. We're going to bring that to a boil, and then we're going to reduce it to a simmer and go from there. We got our corn. I turned on the wrong one. Whoops. So our oil will be already a little warmer or a little faster. So our corn is going. Everything is ready. Here we go. We are 5 minutes out. Soup has been simmering. The corn is almost ready to rock. You can see that starting to smoke. I threw the thermostat in there just to keep it at 350 for video purposes. And the reason that I did that is at 350 when you're oil, just like anything that you're frying, if you do it that it is not at 350, it's going to be too cold. So in other words, what is going to happen is that batter mix will actually soak up the oil instead of getting that crispy crunch and that bite on the outside. 350 is ideal. So if you can do it at 350 and it cooks much better, you have that bite, it doesn't get soggy. You know, a lot of times if you have soggy fish, it's because your oil is too cold, or if it burns on the outside and your fish gets that burnt flavor, it's because it gets too hot. So, you know, grab yourself a thermostat. You can keep track of how hot it is. If you don't have a thermostat and you're just cooking for your family, spit in it and it's going to spit back at you. So you could take a piece of bread. You could do a lot of different things. I'm a spitter as far as in the oil to see if it splats. If it doesn't, you're good to go. Your tater tots, those are looking pretty good. We're going to switch those around here pretty soon. Whoa, there goes the thermostat. You can tell how often I use that. But we're just going to keep an eye on that. And then we're going to start throwing some fish and some breading and getting things rolling. You can hear it start popping. You can hear it start popping. You hear that? No, she stopped a little bit. There she is. So 350, here we go. So here's my fish. It's a real light batter on there, so you don't have a ton of breading. Lay them on in there. Again, 350 degrees. If you're doing French fries, if you're doing all those other things, you're going to want to give it time to catch back up on your temperature before you continue to throw it in. A lot of people, what they do is they forget that they have to let that oil catch up on temperature, because all of this fish I'm throwing in right now, you can see it already dropped almost 50 degrees just by the amount of fish I'm throwing in. So we're going to do this. We're going to let it catch up after each batch, make it get back up to 350. It's a lot easier for people just to continue to throw it in there and not let that temperature get back up there. So you're going to notice how fast these get done. And fish is one thing that you do not want to overcook. A lot of people will take it and overcook it, Ooh, look at that shore lunch wild rice soup getting done. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you're anything like me, you throw a little extra chicken in there if you want, but I'm having fish tonight, so I'm not going to have to do that. And then you throw a little corn in there just for a little extra flavor. And then you got your fish going. Here's my tray for the fish when it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to throw it on here so that oil soaks into that, you know, the paper toweling. Because otherwise, you know, just sitting there on metal, it might get soggy or whatnot. I want this crispy. I want it to taste delicious. I want that fish to have a bite to it. I'm going to throw it in here, let that oil soak off, sprinkle it a little bit with the high mountain seasoning and everything like that. So we're going to wait till this is done. We're a couple minutes. And I would say, you know, 3-4 minutes. It doesn't take long, but you can tell that there's not much breading on there. That's what I like about this shore lunch. It's the original recipe shore lunch, you know, that I use. I especially on panfish. I'm not going to batter it. I'm not going to, and the reason being is I want to taste the fish. I love fish. I love the taste of fish. I love everything about fish. So I'm not going to over batter them or anything like that. And then I'm just going to have everything all ready to rock here, you know. You're going to notice that the bubbles start subsiding a little bit. That fish is going to, it doesn't take long at all. Like I said, 3-4 minutes. We're 3 minutes into this entire video of when I threw the first one in. And we're going to be pulling them here real shortly. Then the temperature, again, as soon as you take that out, a lot of people would throw the next batch in, where, again, it is going to be crucial to make sure that thermostat is in there and it climbs back up to that 350 mark, so each batch of fish stays consistent. You see that it's almost done cooking. You see those bubbles are done. It's starting to float. If you have a lot deeper, see how that's floating already? I'm going to give up on that. Look at that. Looks darn delicious, doesn't it? I'll be back. There you have it. Pan full of perch and bluegill and corn with the shore lunch seasoning and shore lunch wild rice soup. That looks good. And tater tots. Be a nice little Tuesday meal for a rainy day. What's your favorite breading? Let me know what your favorite breading is in the comments. See how many different people like different breadings. What you got going on there, Finn? Trick, how's the fish, buddy?
Great.
Great.
It bugs. Like, it's better than all the cookies. That's yummy.
Easy there, Trigger.
Hey, I like fish.
You guys all playing in the rain?
Yeah. Yeah. We prayed.
You prayed for rain?
Yeah. It was like 30 minutes after and then it went all over.
We did need it, didn't we?
Huh?
What you got there, Monty?
We absolutely
No fish for you? Corn and taters. Finley, how was the fish?
Good.
Mama, how was the fish?
Good.
I got some.